Hi, this is Brian Whitaker with BKW Horsemanship at Wits End Ranch in New Germany, Minnesota, and we are going to continue on this video series of roping. Hopefully it'll be a pretty comprehensive series that will answer a lot of the questions that come up. So I have a few different types of ropes here, and I don't want to overwhelm anybody because there are very many, dozens of different well-known brands of rope. Mainly it's personal preference. The only part where it's not so much personal preference is what specific type of roping you would like to do. Now, if we're talking about beginners, what I suggest to most beginners is a very soft rope. What do I mean by soft rope? Well, when we talk about ropes, they talk about the lay of the rope. What lay is it? This particular rope I'm looking at, and I know it by looking right up here, it says 3/8 XS 30. What does that mean? 3/8 means the diameter, 3/8 of an inch. XS in this case means extra soft. That is the lay of the rope. What that means is there's all these different strands of this rope here. Okay? These are all twisted into this rope here. This particular rope is a 4-strand. How do I know that? I can count the strands right here on the tail. I can count them here or right here on the knot. I see 1, 2, 3, 4. All these different strands have all these smaller pieces of fiber that makes up the rope. And what determines the lay is how much twist are put into these. Right? The more I twist it, the stiffer, the less pliable the rope is. So I like beginners to have a pretty pliable, flexible rope. And it's probably a little more of a complete all-around rope. So if you say, well, I don't know if I want to be a header, I don't know if I want to be a heeler, I don't want to be a team roper, maybe I don't even want to be a calf roper, a tie-down calf roper, maybe I just want a rope, maybe I just want a useful skill. So I think an extra soft ranch rope is the way to go for you. However, if you're really starting out, there's nothing wrong with getting a head rope, and we're talking about in the team roping world, which this is right here, in an extra soft. Maybe there's even a triple extra soft rope. And start with that. The reason I say that is most team ropes are 30 feet long. And there's some that are, a foot, 2, 3 variants, but most are 30 feet long. Most ranch ropes are around, you can get them cut to how you want them. Most ranch ropes are either 45 to 60 foot variety. And, when you starting off, that can be overwhelming. That can be a lot of rope. This is already, for a lot of people, a lot of rope in their hands. So my advice for most people, get yourself as soft a head rope that you can get. The brand really doesn't matter. The style. This one's green. Why is this one green? When this one is red, some people say pink. I call it red. That's just the dye of the rope. Some are natural colored. As you can see behind me, there's a couple of natural colored. There's many reasons that perhaps they do this. One is longevity. We won't really need to go into that right now. So really, even with each different brand, companies have different kinds. So let's say brand Hondo, like my dog has, he has them. One called the flying disc, and one called the tennis ball, and they're all different. They have different materials. We could go on and on about this, and I just try not to overwhelm people. I'm not really going to talk specific brands. I have my favorite. If we want to talk about where to get them, online's a great place. There's a few companies that'll sell them. Most your, let's say, fleet kind of farms places, maybe not the best to get them. They might just have a generic kind of rope that has no body at all, meaning it won't stand up like this. It's flimsy. It's too flimsy. They can be too flimsy. They can be too stiff. Maybe it depends on your region of the country you live. Where I live, finding a good quality rope in tack stores. It's better than it used to be, but they might only offer so many kind, and that's the kind they're going to push to you perhaps. So I would go online. It's easy to do today. Just go online and find a head rope by a well-known brand, and find it in probably in the 30-foot variety, somewhere in there, and get you an extra soft. If this ranch rope, this particular one, has it. We haven't gotten to the parts of the rope, but this right here is the Hondo. This one has a metal Hondo. You could rope anything with this, but this is a little more well known for working with horses. Say you want to put a rope around the foot, which I also do a video series on. This one, you can see how it'll loosen up. So it's a release the pressure type situation. You could rope the horse around the neck to try and gain some control and have it release. So when you release it, releases. So that's a little bit about that. This is a wonderful rope here, and I think it's a triple extra soft, so extra soft. You aren't going to be able to find that on this particular rope. Most ropes, most team ropes, some are done. The information's done here, where to find it. Most, though, generally are going to be on the tail. They're going to be a tag of that particular brand, and you're going to see all you need to see. This is a 3/8 light, which means it's really not a true 3/8. They call it a scant sometimes. 30-foot. This is a soft. So could you use a soft? Sure, you could use a soft. The more I've roped, the more I like a softer rope, even when I'm heeling, which requires me to stand the rope up in front of the legs here. That stiffness is to help keep that rope upright. But over the years, I've gotten a little bit softer. I can just do more. I feel like it's a little more all-around, complete rope. So nothing wrong with a soft. Some people, it's a preference. But you're watching this video and asking for my opinion, or watching my opinion. That's my opinion, is get a pretty soft rope. This is a great rope. If you say, well, geez, I just want a rope. This is a really good one. Again, 45 and 60 feet is usually the variety you can get. That might be too much, maybe, especially, if I hate to use small hands as an excuse, because I don't think it is. But eventually, if you want to get to that length anyway, you might as well start, because it's going to be all foreign to you anyway. But if you want to start with a 30-foot, that's fine. This is just another brand of ranch rope, which is a great rope. This particular one has a breakaway Hondo. We'll go into that later. I put that on. So that's kind of, then the one thing I didn't talk about is a heel rope. And if you want to start heeling, generally heel ropes are 35 feet long. It's the same thing. They'll have a little more twist, what we talked about in the beginning, but they're going to be longer because generally your loop is bigger to get around the heels, and it allows you some room to dally. So, for example, well, why is this one 30 feet long? And it's a team roping rope, a head rope, and this ranch rope here is a 45 feet long. Why is this one 60 feet long? When we're talking about ranch rope, what are we talking about? Well, what I think of is going out in the pasture somewhere and roping something for whatever reason. Generally, it's to doctor on them. There's something wrong, foot hurts, the eye's bad, many list of things. And instead of, especially, when we're talking generally of the Southwest or the West, or even, in other places, we're talking miles and miles of pasture and no chute, no corral system to really run them in. Or if it is, maybe they're a little bit too sick or too lame to go that far. Well, so we rope them. Why is it 60 feet? Well, a lot of it, the main reason is first of all, ranch roping, you can do longer shots, so you don't have to get as close to the animal and stress it, and you can hopefully throw further. The other is, it gives you time to let some rope out and not to what we call dally. Let's take a counterclockwise, if you're a right hand, a counterclockwise wrap around your horn, or 2 or 3, depending on what the situation is. And that allows you to let it run a little bit. Even a 500-pound calf, and even if it's got something wrong with its eye, it's still very strong and run very fast. So the two main reasons why you would let your rope run out there a little bit, you wouldn't just dally off hard, especially if you have some sort of leather for your dally horn, and we'll get into this later. The main reason is, one is you can take it easy on your horse. That dally hard and then letting something, you can imagine if they're running off there really fast, how hard of a jerk that horse has to take. We need our horses to last. I'm about longevity. So you can smooth that, you can slowly break that, you can stop them slowly, the animal. And the other one is to keep it easy on the animal. We don't want them to get hurt either. So think of it a little bit like you're fishing. You cast your line out there and you just caught a big fish. And the last thing you want to do is set the hook and not let them run and break it. Now in this case, we haven't talked about this, but another type of rope is a rawhide reata. I have not had the pleasure myself of swinging one, but they're quite an art. They're very expensive, but you can see why after seeing them. They used to use those, many years ago. Some people definitely still do. The other reason you would dally slowly and let it run is you don't want to break those. Those can break. Pretty hard to break these. The only way I've broken these is I'm putting it on a tractor and hauling something really heavy. I've never broke one on a horse. So just trying to slowly stop the animals, what it comes down to, is why you want one longer. So I hope that helps. Kind of a little bit of a crash course in ropes, but it hopefully gets you on your way to finding something out there. If you got any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.